What up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Robert Graves, once again bringing you another episode of Year of the Vet. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you so much for joining us. If you're a return customer, so to say, then I appreciate that you keep coming back. To get the red tape out of the way, Year of the Vet is on most social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to name a couple of the primaries. You can also visit gearofthevet.com in order to see all the social media platforms that we're on. And that includes all the platforms that the podcast is on. So if you are a iTunes user or a iHeartRadio user or a SoundCloud, you can get to the podcast from there specifically. And since you're there, you might as well subscribe and write reviews to all the shows that you've already listened to, or save the ones that you're looking forward to listening to. No matter if you've listened to them or if you haven't listened to them yet, share them. You'll hear me say it once in a blue moon, but I know not every episode is catered to everyone. Some of you didn't have security clearances, so maybe you don't want to listen to the episode with Bob Wheeler from clearedjobs.net. But I do encourage you to listen to them because each and every individual that comes on has a transition story, and that's what this show is about, helping vets transition smoothly into the world that they don't know yet, right? 4 years is a long time in the military, and so is 20. So getting out, you are a different person. And these are the stories that people come on to share with other vets that are going through the same process of transition. So now that's out the way. This episode, I'm going to have to apologize first and foremost to Drew Lucas. That is who this episode revolves around. And Drew and I sat down in my studio/office, and we had a conversation, and man, it was a phenomenal conversation. However, guess what? Technology sucks. Drew is an amazing dude because Drew had to overcome so much to find so much peace in where he's at today, and it's amazing. Drew actually talked about seeking out counseling multiple times, even though the counseling sessions were so much that pushed him to think about suicide. And that's where he was at. You know, it never got recorded, but Drew and I did a speaking event together, and I found out there that Drew, between the times that Drew was firing his weapon and the times that people were calling him Mr. Lucas, was not even a full 2 weeks, if I remember correctly. Anyway, Drew is a vet advocate that he found himself in this role. He helped veterans by searching for his own answers, by starting projects like the Blues Project that he focused on veteran suicide and suicide around the campuses in particular. He brought TEDx to Cal State Northridge. He works with youth suffering from gang violence or involved in gangs with Street Poets Inc. And he's got his own stuff going on the side, and the guy's phenomenal. And not only is he just phenomenal at his art and his craft, he continues searching for more peace. And I'm sure a lot of you listening can relate to that. So there's not much more that I could share about Drew without telling his story. And I can't blame the technology more than I can blame the operator using the technology, which is myself. But the hard work I put into getting Drew's conversation uploaded, you know what? It just technology. So we've all been there at some point, right? So what I will do is I will try to find a way to get his data off and pull it some other however, because I had been building myself up to release Drew's story so I can release the new website. That's right. If you go over to yearofthevet.com, you will see the new website that has been newly updated, and it looks beautiful. I'm super proud of it. but it is in the beginning stages, and there will be pages added soon, primarily pages that revolve around merchandise, because I have been getting a lot of questions on when I'm going to start selling my shirts and hoodies and paraphernalia. So unfortunately, I cannot deliver what I wanted to give you today. However, by the grace of God, I was able to pull something for you and give it to you today. And that is a recording that I happen to have recorded off of my phone of Drew sharing with us the first love letter he's ever written. A love letter to himself. You'll be able to hear it here. It is short. However, if you want to see Drew actually reading through it, literally, please visit you'rethevet.com and check out Drew Lucas and all the show notes that I have for this particular episode. I will get Drew on to talk to the You're the Vet family once again. But I think that I will be able to salvage our conversation. It's just going to be a lot more involved than what it normally takes to get you guys some entertainment. Once again, if you have not subscribed or shown some love by commenting or sharing, please, I beg of you to get You're the Vet out there for other veterans to hear and to know that it's out there, because it takes a village, right? And it is on each and every one of us to make sure that the veterans in America survive somehow. And that is by providing help and providing information. And so if all we can do is just press the share button once in a blue moon to make sure that other people are getting help that they need or information that can essentially help them in the long run, then our purpose has been fulfilled. Once again, Drew, if you're listening, I'm super sorry that I could not get your conversation out right now. And to the listeners, I'm even more sorry for you, because it is a good conversation. But I promise I have one more idea to figure out if I can get this out, and it will happen. So with that being said, let's listen to a love letter to Drew.
I do have some. I just don't have my notebook with me. Can I share something that I wrote a little while ago? Yeah. Maybe I have to come back and give you some newness in my
life. Don't share anything you wrote more than 4 hours ago.
Let me see here. Have you read my love letter? Now we're talking about breakthroughs or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
That's something I always like to share when it's kind of
when somebody puts you on the spot.
I think in realms of people needing to hear something that's vulnerable and it can get to them through something. I like to share it like this because it's a love letter to myself.
Okay.
And I think I know there's power behind it, because that was my first love letter I've ever written before.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think it's something it's good to think about. I wrote it. This was a time. This was just after I was about to go in my first semester at CSUN, and I was in that illegal trouble at the time, and I my best friend and I were going against. I lost my ground. What grounded me was my best friend and my brother, because he was in jail on the East Coast, and This took about 4 months to write because there's a lot of reflection, and it just took a lot out of me. So yeah, let me share this.
So that's how involved some of these pieces are.
Oh yeah, man. I think this took me about 3 to 4 months to write, because there's a lot of times I would stop, I was crying my eyes out, so. Yeah, that's how involved some are. Sometimes I'll write, like I said, 2 lines and then won't write for 2 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to really process. So it just kind of goes down.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can share this for you. Okay, it goes July 2nd, 2015. Dear Drew, I'm writing you this letter, a letter to express something of importance that we've never discussed, a discussion never taken place because I've never truly been able to say how I felt. I've spoken it before in hopes to speak it into existence, lied enough to others in an attempt to make it so, but the words I spoke were never pure. Pure from a heart, from a place in peace. In fact, not because I lacked the expression, but the love I had for you, Drew. For so many years you carry shame and embarrassment as to what you did, as to what war did to you, questioning whether you were lesser of a man, a Marine, a warrior than that of your peers. You thought of your brothers frantically digging through rubble in search of Marines, only to find body parts. Those aiding the wounded, and most of all, the gruesome task of placing their friends, brothers, in body bags. Returning home, brotherhood faded into isolation and dark thoughts. Writing became a lifeline. However, writing wasn't the hardest part. Sharing one day liberated you in many ways, however, was only the beginning. Heartfelt praise by you and your peers was overwhelming and humbling. You looked upon yourself as a Marine trying to simply cope with combat. Not an inspiration, not a voice, not even as an artist, but you were. To many. As you went on speaking, performing, within minutes, unfamiliar faces became brothers and sisters. A relationship bonded through words, born from pain. Ugly blossomed into beauty. You and many like you became a rose that grew from concrete. See, love never came easy for you, Drew. Vulnerability calls for courage. A letter to God solidified you from stepping out of the darkness to the light. In many ways, a beginning of a new chapter. A chapter free of rage and hate. The day of the suicide bombing, a part of your soul was lost. You proclaimed your hate to God, life, and your very existence. Your self-hatred and rage towards everything only deepened over the years, and survivor's guilt would take a drastic toll. However, also proved to be your savior. A permanent solution to a temporary pain. Taking your own life plagued your mind more times than you can count. From the first night after the IED attacks, awakened the Taliban fighters choking you. Followed you home, haunted by your own consciousness, refused to be in a dark room. Sleepless nights, more so days deafened by a mourning mother's cries, sounds that would induce tears and panic attacks while sitting in classes. You shed tears, more than one man should, but perhaps those tears weren't yours alone, but that of your brothers. You carried a heavy heart. The same trigger of a woman crying would bring a dear friend into your life, a life revived by purpose. Powerful lessons learned from amazing people in your life, family to friends and friends who became family. Maintaining relationships has been a battle. Playing a large role in your sister's lives, more supportive son, grandson has always been a role you'd like to improve. Women you've dated and still hold unconditional love for. The ones you deeply care about. You like to gift the world to them. You like your pockets to be as large as your heart, but it's not. And that's okay. When it was your time to provide, you did the best possibly way you could. You learned so much. The ability to share, more so, open your heart. Opening your heart is a world of wealth. In order to give, you must first possess. Take your time. Breathe. You feel as if you're behind in life. My friend, success is measured in experiences, love, gratitude, and legacy left behind. Life has been a journey, lessons learned. It only began for you once it nearly came to an end by your own hands, not at war. Dark years are becoming clear. Pain provided possibility. Words gave you hope. Speaking hope into others granted you peace. Peace lost so many years ago. Continue on the path. Help those lost along the road. Stay true. Remember purpose. And most of all, if you're going through hell, keep going. True.
It's phenomenal.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. Yeah. So that was yeah, man. That was definitely hard to write. It was definitely a lot of reflection and just yeah, I like to share that, man, just because it's a love letter into yourself.
Yeah, I can see how when you say, come watch me speak.
Yeah.
Then you'll get to know me a little. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, there's a lot in there.
There's a lot in there.
Outside of the war.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely, man. Because I think war. There's reasons for how we take certain things we see and experience. And just like. Even relating to like my romantic life.
Well, even trying to be a better son, and a better grandpa. Yeah. There's a lot of depth, a lot of layers, and a lot of, it just shows. It shows that the turmoil you've gone through, that I wish that this wasn't radio and it was, and somebody could see just like the person on the other side of this microphone. But, yeah, man. Do you have any contact information you want to share? Or
yeah, I have a website, Patrols the Poetry, and there's like an email section there. You can reach me on LinkedIn at Drew Lucas, and Instagram or Facebook at Drew Lucas as well, or Instagram is Mr. Lucas, spelled with 2 U's and 2 S's. But yeah, or you can just contact you, and
contact the scientist in San Diego.
Yeah.
Fuck that
Right.
So we hit a bunch of stuff. Is there anything that you're wanting to talk about? Maybe do you have anything we missed?
Man,
or?
we talked about everything I want to talk about. Is like my future projects. I really want to get hit on is that memoir, Getting Better. I've gotten good advice from you, and the creative project with my friend in music and jazz and performing poetry. But we talked about everything I want to talk about, man. Yeah.
Well, and if you're here in Los Angeles, definitely tap into Drew's social media sites so you can see what's going on. He does put stuff out there and invite the population of whoever's out there looking. But right now he's in Los Angeles. He's going to be traveling around for a while, maybe trying to do some stuff out there, or get to know himself better. But Drew, it's been an honor, man. It's been months in the making, but it's definitely something that I've been looking forward to, and it's surpassed what I expected.
No,
so
I appreciate it. It was great, man.
Yeah,
I really, really appreciate you inviting me, and glad we made it happen. And definitely we got to keep it going, man, because it's good vibes.
Yeah.
And,
yeah. So anybody still tuned in to You're the Vet, thank you once again for this. Just maintaining the ride with us. I hope this conversation did something for you, and if it didn't do something for you, I know it's going to do something for somebody so pass it forward and pay it forward and invite everybody to come listen. So with that being said, this is You're the Vet, and we'll see you next week, or you'll hear us next week. I never know how to put these things.
That was dope, bro. I appreciate it, man. That was really cool.
No, the pleasure's mine.
Really, really cool.
So try this. You got something in here still?
No.
Here.
What's up?
We'll go get. I'm gonna teach you something to be present.
Yeah.
When you're not.